Now we're going to keep you paused on this little bit of track right here. And I want you to roll back the years in your brain. I want you to get the cogs really whirring. What track is it? Because I think this is a very, very iconic section in any motocross game. This is a remake, or I guess a reimagined, of Prairie Valley from MXRS Reflex, recreated in MX Bikes by Mr. Consuming Clouds. I'm very, very excited for this. Actually, it's been up for a few days now at this point, and I had no idea it existed. So that shows my lack of going on to the MXB Mods website, doesn't it? But yeah, made by Mr. Consuming Clouds, this looks to be an almost replica of Prairie Valley. There's a few differences here and there, and just some extras that he's dotted about. There was also, where is it? Is it but damn spaceship over here, for crying out loud? Was this in the original game? I have no idea. But outside of just the main track itself, we've also got, I don't know if it's meant to be an enduro trail as such, but just like a little free-ridey kind of trail that goes all the way around the outside here. So we're definitely going to give both of those a go. And I also have some very, very exciting news, which you'll see in a second, actually, when I say the usual words. Let's get into it. For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe. That is correct. Not only am I an FXR backed rider in this game now, I am now officially a G Fuel ambassador, which I think is very, very cool. Now, I am not the only person in this community, however, that has been reached out to in regards to being an ambassador. I'm not going to spoil who it is, because I don't know if they have already done it or they are going to do their own announcement. But it's a person that all of you know. So really, really cool that G Fuel reached out into the moto community and trying to expand their reach to us. And I will be fully transparent with you. Every single sale that happens using that discount code, using LINS at checkout, you get 20% off. I get 10% commission. Now, I've got no issue sharing that information with you. I feel like it's only fair to be nice and straightforward. So if you are looking for any other ways of
honestly, I can't stand this.
Any other ways of supporting the channel, then that is the way to do it, and I would certainly appreciate it. Maybe you're already one of them people that enjoys G Fuel and you just can now use my code, or maybe it's something you've wanted to try and now you get a little bit of money off doing so. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate the opportunity from G Fuel as a whole. Big W's all around, I think. Now, we are going to be rocking the Suzuki 450 today, and I had a little bit of I guess soul searching yesterday. I stayed on quite late at night. It was about 5 AM for me, playing with like oh my god, backflip 360 720. Stayed on quite late last night gaming with the boys, and it's on a track that has yet to be released that Aiden's working on, that, by the way, when it does release, I think you're all going to love. Really, really enjoyable Supercross track. He's put a lot of time and effort into it. But I joined and left the server a couple of times on both OEM bikes and on factory bikes. And does anybody ever have them days on MX bikes where you feel like you just can't play the game? Like your thumbs aren't doing what your brain tells you to do, and it doesn't matter what you attempt to do or what bike you ride, you just really, really struggle. And I found I struggled on both bikes for different reasons. So I was struggling in like the 180 bowl turns a lot on the OEM bikes with just getting my muscle memory down on the leaning, where it's changed recently. And then I thought I'd hop on the factory bikes to see what I can do on those. And then I had like the opposite issue where I wasn't turning enough, and I was getting the occasional like front end tucks on some of the slightly heavier landings. So I had a really bad MX bike day yesterday, so I'm hoping that today goes a little bit better. Let's go in first person, you know. Third person's fine for the most part to kind of check out the drip, check out the swag, but we are running a completely bare Suzuki right now. On the back of that G Fuel announcement, I need to try and hook, well, I say I need to hook someone up. I need someone to hook me up. I need to reach out to some of the, I guess, more established skin creators in this game and see if they can make some really, like, wild and out there bike skins to kind of match the vibe that G Fuel has. I'm just hoping there's no, what's the word, like, conflicts of interests at all by doing both FXR and G Fuel at the same time. Although, luckily for me, they seem to be both very colourful brands, if that makes sense. The packaging on all the G Fuel products is like super, super bright and very eye-catching, and all the FX, I say all of, most of the FXR gear colourways are also very, very bright as well, which is one of the reasons why I really like working with those. So cool stuff all round. And if we're going back in time a little bit, when I was in my younger years, before I became a disabled, crippled old man whose fingers cramp after 5 minutes of playing MX bikes, there was a period of time where I would go riding IRL almost every single weekend before my dad got a life, who is my mechanic, and I used to try and run like the brightest kits possible. If anyone remembers any of like the Fox or O'Neill kits from back in the day, I'm speaking over, I would say like just over 10 years ago now. They were very, very bright, they were very out there, and they was always my favourite ones to rock. So I think I've always kind of leaned towards being a bit different and trying to stand out a little bit. I mean, back in my MX Simulator days, when I wasn't even on a team and I had to make my own skins, there was some interesting creations, to say the least. I had one really I can't talk. I had a very, very bright cyan blue Kawasaki. And I actually ran aerial gear back then, which is Stone Rider's brand, if anyone's living under a rock. The same aerial that we use for the aerial championships and MX bikes. He used to have his own aerial MX simulator, I guess, clothing/gear brand. Used to rock that because he released the PSD for free for everyone, adjusted a bunch of colorways. I ended up rocking, it was like a really bright cyan/purple, I guess, webbed look gear with massive like cyan/pink bike. It was absolutely disgusting looking back on it, but for whatever reason, young me thought it was the dog was bollocks. He thought it looked really, really cool. Not as cool, however, as reliving my nostalgia and the glory days riding Prairie Valley right now. Now, this was a topic actually the other day. I don't know if it made the cut, but during the LAN qualifying for round 1 at Maggiora, me and Reese were discussing like playing Reflex, etc. And one of the favourite videos that I've ever created on this channel was a Reflex Best Moments compilation, which I'm going to link down below if you haven't seen it yet, which I really, really enjoy. It's just me messing around with the boys, some of the boys that don't make an appearance anymore, just where they've moved on to different games or better things. And it was one of the most, I guess, tedious to put together videos in terms of the amount of time and effort I spent making it. And it was one of the worst performing. I was so upset at the time. But then I had to take a step back and be like, right, people aren't really on this channel for Reflex majority of the time. They're here for MX bikes. So that's why it didn't do great. But if you do have a spare, probably like 15 minutes, I can't remember how long the damn thing is, then I definitely recommend checking it out because it's very, very funny. It's a little bit over the top with the editing. I'm trying to find that nice middle ground right now with basing off of everyone's feedback in the last couple of videos on the right amount to edit videos and when it's a little bit overkill and detracts from the content. I'm trying to just find that nice middle ground, so do give me a little bit of time. We'll get there eventually, but for the most part it all seems well received. It just, and the numbers don't lie. When I say that the audience retention has gone up like double, I'm not lying. So on every single video, the main 3 video statistics that you get, one is obviously the amount of views it's got, one is the amount of clicks, like click rate, so the amount of times it shows up in people's live or people's feeds compared to the amount of times they click on it, and then the final one is average viewer duration rate. Now usually I'm sitting at around the 4-minute mark, good videos 5 or so, or if it's like really long races, people tend to stick around for those a little bit longer. That will go up to about 6. But in the last couple of videos, we've been sitting between 6 to 8 minutes on each one, which shows that it does help in a way to keep people engaged in it and keep people watching. I haven't yet got this line right. I'm wondering if you are able to kind of triple that whole thing. That seems to be a hell of a stretch. Oh god, I forgot to put any road on. God damn it, we're not going to get to see how this track erodes, unfortunately. But it flows actually really, really nicely. In terms of the scaling, I feel like it might be a tiny bit smaller than Reflex, unless I'm just misremembering things and Reflex nostalgia's doing me dirty. Maybe on Reflex you just tend to like float in the air a bit more, but it seems like I'm very up and down on the landing on these jumps. And I think those whole desert style tracks, there's a few on each one, wasn't there? So you had, for example, like Razorback and Moto 338 were the same environment. Was it Armadillo Flats? I think that was it. Armadillo Flats and Prairie Valley shared the same kind of look, and I really did enjoy both of those. I think the biggest fun thing about Reflex back in the day is when you could just do a disgusting stretch whip or whip glitch, whichever one you refer to it as. You can just hit these like ridiculous, massive sections, and it's actually very funny knowing that I guarantee this track started being worked on a long time ago, but then also at the same time as Fort Dodge Round 2 was being worked on by Red Rider, and I I'm sure there was no collaboration or mention there at all. Just two completely different creators that both enjoy the old glory days of Reflex. Thought, you know what, let's remake a little bit of it in this game. Can we get this jump? Oh my god, we're going to have to go and turn around. We're going to have to hit this a few times. Right. Official attempt number 1. This up. Official attempt number 2. Right. I've got to downside this jump as best as I can. Lovely. And we're going to row this. Scrub the double as hard as possible. Ah! At the break. Oh, we bounce a little bit, but oh no. We're not taking that. I want to get this as clean as possible. So downside it nicely. We're going out wide. Third gear. Scrub the double. Get as much drive as possible. Yeet! That is such a big send. That is the biggest one on the track by far. And then we check up a little bit for the double into this corner. And the bike's fighting with us. I have no idea how I've not crashed there. I think 99.9% of the time that yeets me in that the weird physics happens and you go up and over a berm. But massive W. I think the track's actually like quite pretty. It's very immersive with the amount of... I mean, it does really give a deserty feel and an abandoned type feel. There's some very like rusted ridges dotted about. We've got the occasional, what would you prefer, like barrel / oil drum rusted away, whichever you'd refer to it as. Oh, that... Never mind, I am actually an L gamer. Well, I thought these were rusted away barrels. Turns out that they are tyres stacked up. Still matches the theme. I mean, we've got like oil tanks up here as well. You've got the standard shrubbery and I guess trees with no leaves on them. So I think it's done a very, very good job of replicating a childhood favourite into this game. That will kind of cover the motocross track as a whole. I want to mess around on this, I guess, enduro-y type freeride-y area that he's got dotted around the outside here. I have no idea if it covers the entire outskirts of the map, but that's exactly what we're here for. We're going to damn well find out, and it looks very, very abandoned, very used, and he's been a very mean man. Oh, he's put collisions on the water so they slow you down a little bit. Okay, noted. Does it do it everywhere? Oh, I don't know. I didn't feel it in that one, unless it was just such a slow bit of track that it didn't make much of a difference. Right, I need to be hesitant of the water. That's what we're coming out of here with. And this, oh, gentle, be rough. No, it is in every single bit. Okay, yeah, it slowed me down everywhere. Careful, careful. Oh, how big is this? Right, I'm sending it for the boys. Ah! Where on earth do I go to get back to where I was trying to be? Is it... Wait, is it... Was it actually a massive send and I just didn't get it right? Oh no, it seems to... It slaloms a little bit. It goes back and forth and then comes out the other side. Okay. Right. L Gamer number 2 from me for the video. But there you go. It's not a massive send. It's a little send into a little bit of weaving back and forth. Nice little whoop section. Single. Where do we go? Do we pop a 180 here? I think we do. Oh god. I don't want to get lost. That's my issue. I'm just going this way because it looks like the trail's slightly lighter, if that makes sense. Do we go... Oh! So my scientific research has concluded, and I've come to the decision that I did go the right way. It just turns out that it turns into a little bit of a loop. So we've done that bit over there. However, sneaky, there's a little damn arena cross section over in the background here, which I had no idea about when we loaded in. So that's definitely going to get ridden. It's always nice when you go into a video or a recording with a certain idea in mind and then you come out of it being very, very surprised by a little secret that you didn't know existed. And I'll be honest, I've not read a single thing in the description of this upload. I'll do it after the fact, but if anybody's already typed in the comments raging at me that I've missed something that was in the MXV mods post, I'm sorry. It's just how it be. Is this what... Wait. Huh? How does... Wait, do you use the same... But I think he used the same... Oh, I see. He's done it with a mask. And you use the same berm twice, essentially, going different directions. That's quite... That's cool.
It's nice.
That's very innovative. Oh my god. This is actually sick. Why is this 3 lanes of an arena cross track surprised me so much? That's a massive takeoff. I need to check up a lot there. Or maybe send it even more and try and 5 the whole thing. Wait, so you go back and forth between... This is actually so cool. So you do use the same... But... So you use the same berm twice, and then you use the same whoop section twice, and go back and forth like clockwise and counterclockwise. Consuming clouds. Very, very creative stuff. Like, really cool. This is kind of the thing that gives me the inspiration of asking track creators to do tracks that loop back on themselves, because stuff like this is very, very unique. And imagine doing this on like a full scale, where you go back and forth on the same track multiple times. And if there was a way of getting this to work properly with timing gates, it could be so cool for just the weirdest of races. Imagine the carnage getting 40 people doing something like this, where you go back and forth and turn different ways all the time. They would just, I imagine, if there was in-game chat, like if there was chat where you could just load up and talk to each other in lobbies, I don't think any video that you post on YouTube would ever get monetized. It would be an absolute nightmare. But overall, I'm really, really happy that I gave this a download, and I'm really happy that I gave it its own video as well. I mentioned in yesterday's one, when I was testing out the mountain biking game, that I found a track that I thought was worthy of its own video. This was it. It is a free track, bearing in mind. I know I've covered a lot of paid tracks as of late. It just happens to be that there's been a lot of tracks appearing on the shop, so I do like covering those, as they do tend to be on the higher end in terms of quality. But you cannot knock tracks like this that are done just from the heart, from pure love, a nice nostalgic replica of an olden classic, and he's done a very, very good job. So massive W to Consuming Clouds. Thank you everyone for watching. Again, any like links and like discount codes for anything that I'm affiliated with is in the description down below, both G Fuel and both FXR Racing. I really appreciate all the support you guys give me, and we wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for you clicking the subscribe button in the first place. So, as all videos of mine, we got a little bit of music being introduced here in the background. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and roll the outro.